You've always been the kind one, the one who listens when others speak, the one who gives without asking, the one who forgives, even when no apology comes. Maybe people thank you, but more often, they don't. Maybe you've noticed that the more you try to be good, the more people ignore your needs, or worse, take advantage of your silence. And somewhere, deep in your chest, a quiet question begins to grow. Why don't they respect me? Is it them? Or is there something in my kindness that makes me invisible? Carl Jung, one of the most profound thinkers in psychology, believed that the human psyche is not just light, but shadow. And sometimes, when we try too hard to be kind, we betray the very parts of ourselves that demand and deserve respect. This isn't a video about becoming cruel, it's about becoming whole. Let's explore 5 hidden reasons your kindness might be costing you the respect you crave. 1. You're being kind to avoid conflict. At first glance, kindness seems pure, but not all kindness comes from love. Sometimes, it comes from fear. Have you ever said yes when you wanted to say no? Have you ever smiled to keep the peace, even when you were hurt inside? Carl Jung believed that what we reject or deny in ourselves becomes part of the shadow, a hidden realm of the psyche where we store the unacceptable, the uncomfortable, the unloved. Many kind people have banished their anger, their assertiveness, their ability to say enough. They've cast these parts into the shadow. Why? Because they were told, directly or indirectly, that expressing anger is bad, setting boundaries is selfish, and conflict means you're not nice enough. So instead, they overcompensate. They become the peacekeeper, the giver, the agreeable one. But here's the paradox Jung warned us about. What we repress doesn't disappear. It leaks. Others sense the tension behind the smile. They see the discomfort when you're being walked on. They may not understand it consciously, but unconsciously, they recognize that you're being nice to protect yourself, not because you're truly at peace. And when kindness is driven by fear, it invites pity or manipulation, not respect. True respect doesn't come from people-pleasing. It comes when others sense that your kindness is a choice, not a survival strategy. Jung invites us to reclaim the parts we've hidden, not to become less kind, but to become more whole. Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video. Your support helps more people discover these ideas. And if you're enjoying this journey into the mysteries of the mind, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Now, back to the video. 2. You're giving from emptiness, not strength. Not all giving is generous. Some giving is a quiet cry to be seen. Jung spoke often about individuation, the journey of becoming your truest, most integrated self. A person who is individuated knows who they are, where they end, and where others begin. But if your kindness is rooted in the fear of rejection, if you give because you're afraid of being unloved, abandoned, or alone, then you're not giving from fullness. You're giving from a wound. People can feel this. They may not be able to explain it, but they sense that your kindness isn't entirely free. It comes with invisible strings, the need to be needed, the hope to be validated, the fear of not being enough unless you're always helpful. And the tragedy is this: the more you give from emptiness, the more others unconsciously pull away. Not because you're not valuable, but because your kindness begins to feel needy. Jung would remind us that the most powerful acts of kindness come not from a desire to be good, but from the overflow of a whole self, a self that no longer depends on others to define its worth. So before you offer more of yourself, ask, am I giving from strength or from a fear of being invisible without it? 3. You avoid your inner warrior, the repressed animus or power complex. In Jungian terms, every psyche holds a balance of opposites, masculine and feminine, logic and feeling, gentleness and power. For many kind-hearted people, especially those conditioned to be good, agreeable, or soft, the inner warrior has been exiled. The part of you that says no, that stands its ground, that defends what matters. Jung called this inner masculine force, and in all people, it can be seen as our capacity for directed action, clarity, and self-protection. But when we associate strength with harshness, or anger with danger, we suppress our power. We become harmless, but also voiceless. And in a world that unconsciously respects boundaries, authority, and clarity, voicelessness leads to invisibility. People don't respect those who can't stand for themselves, not because they're cruel, but because we're biologically wired to look for strength as a signal of trust and safety. When your kindness comes without the ability to protect it, it's seen as weakness, not virtue. Jung would urge you, reclaim your inner sword, not to harm, but to protect your softness, to give your kindness a spine. A kind person with boundaries is a force of nature. A kind person without them becomes a doormat. Don't just be nice. Be whole. 4. You project your darkness onto others. The idealization trap. When we suppress our own darkness, we don't get rid of it. We simply start seeing it in other people. Jung warned that what we do not make conscious, we project. And for overly kind people, that often means projecting strength, selfishness, or even cruelty onto others, while refusing to acknowledge those same traits within themselves. You may idealize others thinking, they're confident, they know what they want, they speak their minds. I could never do that. But buried beneath that idealization is envy, a quiet resentment, a longing to be that free, to speak, to act, to take, without apologizing. And here's the hidden cost. The more you put others on a pedestal, the more you place yourself beneath them. The more you elevate their needs, their opinions, their time, the more invisible your own value becomes. You become the side character in your own life, endlessly helpful, endlessly available, endlessly unnoticed. Jung would say, to integrate your shadow is to stop projecting your power onto others and start owning it yourself. What you admire in others, their boldness, their certainty, their unapologetic presence, is a mirror of what lies dormant in you. Your kindness is beautiful, but it's not all of you. Respect begins when you stop shrinking from your full reflection. 5. You mistake being liked for being respected. Jung introduced the concept of the persona, the mask we wear to meet the expectations of the world. It's how we present ourselves, polite, agreeable, composed. And while the persona helps us function socially, it becomes a prison when we start believing it's all we are. Many kind people become trapped in this mask. They learn early on that being nice gets approval, that pleasing others wins affection, that if you never upset anyone, you'll be loved. And so, they make it their mission. Be liked at all costs. But here's the hard truth. Being liked is not the same as being respected. Liked people are often forgettable. Respected people are remembered. Liked people are convenient. Respected people are clear. Liked people bend. Respected people hold. When you spend your life trying not to offend, not to disappoint, not to take up space, you send a silent message. My comfort doesn't matter, and others believe you. Jung would say, the persona is not inherently bad, but it must serve the self, not replace it. True respect comes when your outward kindness is rooted in inward truth, when your actions reflect not just what is pleasant, but what is real. So ask yourself, do I want to be liked, or do I want to be whole? Because when you choose wholeness, respect follows, not from everyone, but from the right ones. Kindness is not the problem. The world needs more compassion, more gentleness, more grace. But when kindness is disconnected from the full self, it becomes hollow, a mask, a habit, a shield. Jung didn't tell us to stop being kind. He invited us to become whole, to reclaim the parts we've exiled, the voice that says no, the anger that signals injustice, the power that demands respect. Because true kindness isn't passive. It's not afraid to be seen. It doesn't collapse to be accepted. It stands tall, rooted in clarity, backed by boundaries, and flowing from authenticity. So if you've ever felt unseen in your kindness, if you've given and still felt small, maybe the path forward isn't to be kinder. Maybe it's to become more you. And when you do, your kindness won't just be noticed. It will be respected. If this video spoke to something inside you, something you've been quietly carrying, I invite you to stay on this journey. Subscribe for more videos on psychology, philosophy, and becoming who you truly are. Share your thoughts below. How has kindness shaped your story? See you in the next video.